shocking dash cam footage has popped up showing the accident happened in Dallas over the weekend, a car accident that involved, it would appear based on the internet, Chiefs wide receiver Rashee Rice, and he is now a wanted man. The law enforcement would like to have a talk with him. So if you didn't see the actual accident, there's dash cam footage, and it shows a Lamborghini and a Corvette who were filmed going really fast. Because why would you own a Lamborghini or a Corvette unless you were planning on driving fast? It makes no sense to own those cars unless you were going to drive fast. So a Lamborghini and a Corvette were filmed at a very high rate of speed over the listed speed limit, and then bam, they collided with a gray car. This happened on the North Central Expressway in Dallas, and a number of cars were involved. It has been claimed that the Lamborghini and the Corvette, based on the video, that they were racing. And police suspect that Rashee Rice was driving said Corvette. 5 men from the Corvette and the Lamborghini just casually walked away from the scene on the shoulder of the highway. And la 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 la. Now it gets even crazier because they before they left, they went to get stuff out of the Lamborghini and the Corvette, and they had bags. What's in the bag? What's in the bag? We don't know. So Rice is wanted by the cops because the Corvette is either registered to him or leased to him, but either way, his name's on the Corvette, which he was believed to be driving at the time of said incident. So let us discuss the question. Chiefs wide receiver Rashee Rice listed as a primary suspect in this street racing accident. How do you react to this one? So I've got Vin Diesel, pocketbook, and sweetener. And we will combine all of these things together, and we'll see how fast you can possibly drive. How fast you can possibly drive. So number one. Rashee Rice, the receiver who was the top receiver for Kansas City by default at the end of the year. They had no one else. So this cat just made things much worse for himself. Or did he make things much worse for himself? That's yet to be determined, but the police suspect that he was the one driving the Corvette that was dodging in and out of traffic, and then with the Lamborghini, a little collision took place there. At least one person was sent to the hospital, according to the local TV station in Dallas. This incident happened on Saturday. Now, why does that matter? Why is that important? It matters because in Texas, leaving the scene of an accident involving death or serious injury, which, again, serious injury, not death, but serious injury, is a third-degree felony. If you end up in the hospital, you probably have a serious injury. But even if it wasn't a serious injury, now that alone would be punishable from 2 to 10 years in state prison, the Gray Bar Hotel. But if the injury is not serious, but still an injury, it is a felony nonetheless punishable by up to 1 year in county jail and up to 5 years in state prison and or a fine of up to $5,000. So I watched the dash cam footage because I have no life, and I was flipping this on here. I was watching it. It was during the Dodger-Cardinal game. I turned that on instead. I was watching this, breaking it down frame by frame. And watching it, Rashee Rice, it looked to me like he was doing his impersonation of Vin Diesel. That not only he's got, I see this all the time. You're living in Los Angeles. I see this all the time. You're driving home. We drive into work late. We drive home late. And it is like the Autobahn. It's fast and furious. I've almost been struck by people racing dozens of times. And I'm not exaggerating. Dozens of times I've almost been hit by these a-holes that are driving like this in real life. And so we don't know what was in the back. That's the other part of it. Now, I was actually texting a friend of mine who knows a thing or two about the law, and he was explaining to me that in the moment, if there were, let's say, I don't know, guns and cocaine or whatever, I don't know, any kind of drug in the case, the guy was explaining to me, he's like, listen, leaving the scene, or if these guys were intoxicated, and I don't know if they were or not, but he's like, explaining to me, he's like, well, yeah, it's a felony to leave the scene of an accident, but if you were drunk and you walked away, or if you had illegal guns or something like that, or some kind of illegal substance that would have gotten you a lot more time, you're better off leaving because they have no way of tracking that down. So while it's a felony, it's a 1 year, according to the Texas law, it's punishable by up to 1 year in county jail, up to 5 years in the state prison, and a fine. Okay. So again, there must have been some really good stuff in the bags, is what I'm trying to say, right? And these guys were in no hurry. They were being photographed as they were walking off the highway. They were being videoed. They were like, they didn't care. Like, who are you going to call? You need a good friend, right? You need a friend you can call. Hey, I just got in a wreck on the interstate here. Can you help me out here? I need you to pick me up. Yeah, all right, we're good. We're okay. Man. So we'll see what happens, but we understand that Rashee Rice has lawyered up. We are told he has gotten a lawyer. You think he got one of those billboard lawyers? Probably not. You think he called the Chiefs? Hey, I had a little problem here on the highway. I have not seen a statement from the Chiefs, but I'm going to predict that when they do release a statement, we are aware of the situation. It's a legal matter. We have no further comment. We are still gathering information at this time. Something like that will be the statement from the Kansas City Chiefs, that will come out. And we'll hear more. Today is a big day. It's April Fool's Day. So we'll hear what happens today. And when the sun comes up later on, we'll have a statement. I would assume Rice will go down to the courthouse there, to the police station, to meet with law enforcement, with his attorney present and all that. Now, page 2 here. Also over the weekend, while we were not sitting in the catbird seat, we were away from our post, we had a trade in the NFL. The Eagles traded edge rusher Hassan Reddick to the Jets, Jets, suck. So that's a decent-sized trade in exchange for a conditional third-round pick, but not till 2026. However, that pick gets bumped up and becomes a second-round pick if Reddick plays 67.5% of the playing time for the Jets defense, and that's the threshold, or has 10 or more sacks this season for Gang Green. So are you surprised that the Birds gave up on Hassan Reddick? He spent a couple years in Philly, very productive for the Eagles, got to a Super Bowl with Hassan Reddick. So are you surprised the Eagles gave up on Reddick? And I will go first. Surprised is not the right word. I will not use the word surprised because this was telegraphed, bizarrely telegraphed by the Philadelphia football team. I don't quite get it. Reddick, I would put him in this category. He is collateral damage, Hassan Reddick, from the Eagle collapse. They can't get rid of Jalen Hurts. There's several guys they don't want to get rid of because they're young and in the prime of their careers. But Hassan Reddick, he's got some wear on the tires. And he needs to go to TireRack.com, get some new tires. He's got some issues there with the tires, some problems there. And he also, as I recall, maybe I'm completely wrong on this, but as I remember documenting the Eagles and their collapse, I do not recall Hassan Reddick stepping up and making big defensive plays for the Eagles as they were crumbling. So that's another factor here. But the Eagles were not going to give Reddick what he wanted. He's outperformed his contract, and the Eagles were like, we're not paying you more money. We're not going to give you a new contract. You're 30 years old, dude. That's old in the NFL. Not in real life, but in the NFL, that's old. And so instead, Philly decided to use the old pocketbook. They used the pocketbook as a catapult to send Reddick out of the Delaware Valley into the Jets. That's a good pickup by the Jets, but for a year or two, I guess the Jets are going to give him more money and give him a new contract, so that'll then make it a mistake. But for 1 year of Hassan Reddick, I can make some impact plays as an edge rusher. 1 or 2 plays a game. That can be game-changing plays. You get a big play on second down, make it a 3rd and long, set up a punt situation. That's big time. All right, now, final point. We quickly head to another weekend coming and going, and still nothing on the horizon, no movement for Zach Wilson. The Jets would like to unload Zach Wilson. Nobody wants this guy. Nobody wants Zach Wilson at this point, no trade. So what do the Jets do with this turd burger, Zach Wilson? What do they do with this guy? All right, so I've thought about this, and it's pretty obvious here. They need to grab some sweetener. They need to grab some sweetener here and sweeten the pot. They've got to You know when you have something you want to give away, you just got to give it away and add extra goodies on top. I remember there was a story, and I'm going to date myself, but this guy named Vin Scully told me a story. He was growing up in New York, and there was a strike for the sanitation department. And it was during the winter. It was during the Christmas holidays. And Vin told this amazing story as a kid growing up, and he remembered that when the TVs came around, these massive TVs, these huge tube TVs, and trash was just piling up, and people were freaking out. They didn't know what to do. So what they do is they get the giant box, and they'd fill it with trash and then wrap it and leave it out in front of their doorstep, and somebody would steal the trash. So they made a deal. They wrapped it up. They were able to cut a deal and get rid of their trash. But in this case, the Jets have to toss in an extra draft pick. And they're not going to give up a high draft pick, but they'll give up a 6th-round pick or a 7th-round pick, something like that. And there's also money involved. The money's fugazi. If Zach Wilson could play, it would not be a problem, but he can't play. He's got a roster bonus, and he's got a base salary and all that stuff that's guaranteed. The issue is an underlying condition. He needs a flea bat. He's covered in fleas. He's a dog with fleas, Zach Wilson. That's a problem. You'll pick up a dog, you get flea bites all over yourself. It's terrible.